Okay, cool. Hey, hi everyone. It's Bernardo Moya. I'm the founder of The Best You and author of The Question. And today I've got another guest who is very dear to us because she's our Legacy Club Director for London. And that's Louise Moore. Hey, Louise, how are you?
Hey, I'm very well, Bernardo. How are you?
Very good, thank you. So Louise is an international wellbeing practitioner and trainer with over 20 years experience of dedicated work in the field of mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Louise has many qualifications, but is best known for, her style of advanced clinical hypnotherapy. She's got a global clientele, even more now because obviously we're at this moment. I don't know when you're listening to this, but we're all online. She, in the past when she could go see a client, she would see them all in Harley Street in her practice in London. But she offers individual sessions and workshops. And as I said, we're delighted to have her working with us. She's got obviously all the diplomas, the NLP, the psychotherapy, general hypnotherapy, standards council as well. So welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here.
So Louise, tell me a little bit more about your early years and kind of what put you on the path of what you're doing today. Because, I don't know, tell us about those early years, and was there a turning point that put you on that path, or were you 3 or 5 and 6 and said, I want to be a clinical hypnotherapist? How did it work out?
No, in fact, it's developed over the years. I can remember having an interesting conversation with a careers advisor when I was at school, not having a clue what I wanted to do and being told I should be a nurse. And at the time I said I didn't really fancy that, but that led on to social care, doing certificates and looking at working with children, working with the elderly, or working with disabilities. And that's where my initial passion for helping people came from, because I did a really great course. And from there, I went on to actually be a nanny with a family that was very much in distress because the mum had cancer and she had 2 tiny little girls. And I went through a very difficult time with the family. Sadly, we lost mum and I was still there caring for the girls. And that really opened my eyes up to, what families needed as far as support, the traumas that families go through and so on. So I then moved on to work in a more specialist unit for people that struggled with epilepsy. And at the time, it was quite revolutionary because it was attached to the National Hospital in London. And I was working in the new occupational department for young people that were coming in to be newly diagnosed. And so I was learning a lot from these top consultants about the brain and the way the brain worked and all the different types of effects that this was having on people and why people had these different issues. So I was there for a few years, and it was there that I met the gentleman that was a psychotherapist in the unit. And I used to sit in on his group sessions. And that's when I fell in love with psychotherapy. And I decided to go off and do my formal training. And it was the best thing I ever did. At the time, I had 2 young children. So it helped me to discover how to be a better parent and how to do all this parenting stuff. And then went on from there to qualify a few years down the line. And I then split my work. I worked in setting up my own counselling practice, but also working for the likes of social services and some charities, working in the community and getting some more experience. So I've worked and diversified with different groups of people with different problems all the way along the line. And then I moved from one side of the UK to the other and had to give up my practice and start all over again. And decided that this was where my passion was. And so got into other training, and that's when I did my hypnotherapy training, and that changed everything for me, and the NLP training.
And how old were you then when you did your NLP and hypnotherapy?
I was late 30s then.
Late 30s, okay. So you already had quite a lot of experience, but you just added these extra tools at that age. And for you, obviously, kind of that represented a game changer for what you're saying, was it?
Absolutely, because I loved working for social services and charities, but obviously you're working in a system and there's only so far you can go with some of your clients. And I really felt that I wanted to see things through more with people. So I decided to leave. And in actual fact, the week that I left, I ended up at the doctor's because I had a sore throat. And the head of the practice said, what was I doing? And I said, well, I've taken the plunge to set up my own practice. And he said, fantastic, we need someone like you in the local area to help alongside what we do. So when they had their patients that were suffering with anxiety or addictions, traumas, they would mention the fact that I was in the community and that I had all this experience. So that was a wonderful time for me to take referrals and build my clinic. And initially I built my first clinic here in Suffolk, and then I had the opportunity to go to London and work as a partner in a practice in Harley Street. And I was going down one day a week, and then soon the demand was growing. So I knew I had to find my own practice. And that's about 12 years ago now. So I've been working in my Harley Street practice for 2-3 days a week for the last 12 years and building really on a global clientele. I've had the opportunity to travel. I ran a clinic in Dubai for a while, and it's been fantastic. Yeah, I've met some wonderful people.
So why? I mean, I actually had a guest recently, Jonathan Chase, who, does a lot of hypnosis and teaches hypnosis. So it's kind of like a common trend. But we were talking, obviously, how powerful it is, and how, many people, or many therapists use it for many different ways, and how, what a great tool it is to have. And again, it's for those people that might not really appreciate or understand the power of hypnosis, but, obviously, and you can explain us more how you're helping and assisting people, but, for weight loss, for obviously any type of phobia, to stop smoking, for any types of anxiety. So name just a few of the things that you normally do, and kind of one of the things that, because I've seen some fascinating phobias and anxieties. I mean, I've seen all sorts of things, obviously bananas, ketchup, the most weirdest things like needles and planes, that's kind of normal, but I've seen some really random things that people eating, like, for example, I've seen people that actually had a fearophobia, like, so if they see you eating, they just freak out. So tell us kind of the things that you've helped people with, and share maybe a story of some kind of random ones that you've helped people with in the past.
Yes, well, I think, it never ceases to surprise me, what people will come up with and come to see you for. I mean, obviously there are the standard things that, I want to lose weight, or stop eating all this chocolates, I need to give up smoking, or I'm drinking too much alcohol. I'm definitely seeing more and more of all the different types of anxieties, and that does spill into all the different types of phobias. And, all the other mental health reasons. I mean, hypnotherapy, basically what I say is if it starts and ends with your thoughts, then you can work on it. So there's nothing you can't work on with hypnotherapy. It might be your performance, you want to, get into being a better sports person or better in the arts, or even just with your business. You may find that you've gone so far and you're lacking in confidence to go to the next level. So, I mean, I have worked a lot with people with pain. I mean, this was a pretty remarkable story, actually. One of my early clients came to me. He'd had an injury where he'd lost the lower part of his left leg 30 years prior to coming to see me. And he lived in constant pain of feeling the phantom limb, and he hadn't slept in 30 years, a full night, and he was taking a concoction of medication. It was a very, very distressing tale. And he said to me, do you think, I don't know about this hypnotherapy lark, do you think it will help me? And I said, well, I don't know, because I've never treated anyone with your issue, but if the pain is in the subconscious, maybe we can do something about it. So we did the first session, and there was no real change. But he was willing to come back again, which was good. And he said he found it extremely relaxing. On the second session, we got to the end, and as I counted him back up to being fully alert, he was just staring at me. And I said, well, you know, is everything okay? And he's whispering at me. He said, I haven't got any pain. I haven't got any pain. And it was almost like he was in shock. He couldn't believe it. And nor could I, because I obviously never had done this before. So I was like, okay. So the two of us are whispering and he doesn't want to move. But it was remarkable what happened over a few more sessions, that this guy's life completely transformed. So that was my best story, really.
Yeah, there's so many beautiful. I remember Richard sharing a story, Bandler, once about someone that also had a phantom arm. He had a pain in his phantom arm, and Richard will acknowledge and accepted that he was in his early stages of practicing and doing hypnosis, and he came up with the idea of using an imaginary injection. So with their eyes closed and in trance, he said, imagine I'm going to put an injection, give you an injection, obviously to, you know, relieve the pain, and the pain will be gone forever. And he said he actually put the injection, he like tweaked a little bit when the injection was going in the phantom arm. Yeah. But then that was it. He's never had any pain since. Yeah. So it's phenomenal, the power of the mind. And if you are able of thinking about it, you're able of getting rid of it as well, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I've had someone come before that needed to have 4 wisdom teeth out. And he had a condition that he was really not, unless it was an acute emergency, allowed to have general anaesthetic. So he knew that if he was going to go through this, it was a case of he couldn't have general anaesthetic, he couldn't have the anaesthetic that they would normally put in your mouth, because it was a risk to him. So he said, come on, you know, we've got to do this, because I literally have to get rid of the pain that's in my mouth. So I want to prepare myself with hypnosis, and I'm going to do this. So I said, okay. So we just gave him some tools and tricks to imagine at the moment when he was having the tooth extracted, that he would be washing back into a beautiful cool lake of water that washed away any pain at all that would be there. And he actually did go through the procedure 2 weeks later and had all 4 removed at the same time and didn't feel a thing.
Yeah, amazing. That's
yeah, it's
yeah. So listen, Louise, with you know, kind of what we got at the moment, obviously I know in the past you've also worked with clients remotely and internationally as well. So obviously now you're obliged, you know, you're not going to your clinic anymore. Yes. How has it affected you, if in any way, you know, well, not being able to see clients? Because I know obviously you can treat clients remotely. So how has it affected you, or how is it working out for you?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm missing the contact, being in the room with the clients, but very interesting, because I have worked with online clients for 10 years, and we get just the same results over Skype or FaceTime or like Zoom calls. As long as they're in a room where they can be comfortable and relaxed and they can hear me, then we do exactly the same thing. We talk together, we have a plan for the session, and then if we're doing hypnosis, they just make themselves comfortable and they're just guided by my voice and the powerful suggestions, and they love it. They feel super relaxed, and they get the results that they want, which is the main thing for me. So I have every faith in that, and it's really good at this time, because, you know, people do still need the support and the help.
Yeah, if anything, even more now, don't
even more so. I mean, particularly with anxieties and fears that are around at the moment. If you've already got a certain level of anxiety, that's gone up considerably. Yeah. So I'm able to help people to relax and just be more in the present and accept that this is where we're at, and that this is working on the future.
And that's it, and that's kind of like I suppose a lot of the new reality that we have is that a lot of people are realizing, well, a lot of companies are realizing that, hey, you know what, people can work from home and there's no commuting. People that never worked from home are getting used to working from home. I mean, hey, we're even some parents are becoming teachers. So, you know, there's a new reality. What I do love about, you know, obviously having a career as a hypnotherapist, as a coach, as a trainer, as a mentor, is that you can work with people remotely, and that, you know, that definitely helps. So, you know,
and I also teach, so I can still work with my students and we can carry on, because that's another passion of mine, to really share what I do and teach people to do the same. So I've been doing that since 2010 and running the LifeMatters Hypnotherapy Diploma and Foundation course. So that's thoroughly enjoyable.
Well, and so that's it really, is that, you know, if that there's an opportunity now for a lot of people that are thinking in, you know, transitioning, or have been thinking about transitioning at the moment, is that this is a great time to have a career where you have that freedom of working from home, you know, building your clientele and charging, you know, which although some people might think, oh, well, no one's got any money, there are people that have money, people will need services and will continue to need so.
Yeah.
So how are you, what do you see, you know, with a lot of the things that you're doing, and obviously we'll talk a little bit more about the Legacy Club and kind of your idea behind it. Where is your career, if anything, changing or transforming? And are you being, you know, more creative than ever with this downtime you have, or not?
I am. So I've been developing some more material to put out online. So I'm dipping my toe in the big world of YouTube and making some recordings for free for people to listen to. So, you know, if people want to help to sleep better, or to lessen their worries and anxieties, or to even kind of tune into some motivational stuff to use the time wisely. You know, we've got time on our hands, but people are struggling with the motivation and focus. So I'm getting more creative on that side of things, and just also looking to relaunch the foundation course as an intro step towards career in hypnosis, and making that more available to people. So I'm hoping that will come online very soon. So yes, just doing what I can to expand on my skills already.
Absolutely. Well, and that's what I'm finding. I think a lot of us are sharing the idea that, you know, there seems to be a lot more creativity. Well, there has to be. I mean, you know, we're all pretty much at home, and we've got more time to do things. But I feel there's so much I'm particularly working more than ever, and I work really long hours. I find myself, and also I am extremely creative. Unfortunately, I've got so many things going on that sometimes I just haven't got enough time to. So I'm starting to block days, which is some of the things that I advise. I'm trying to block days and hours now just to simply focus on creativity, because, you know, we want to take advantage of this downtime and make the best out of it, because, you know, hopefully we won't have to be sitting in our houses again for another 2 months, you know, and we want to make it count.
Yeah, it's quite a unique time, isn't it, for all of us? And
it is, and I really believe, you know, it's a great opportunity to stand out. So I think for those of you that do have, you know, a position where you can help and inspire and support other people, go out there. If you're looking for a coach, again, a mentor, people are extremely generous with their time. Reach out and see what you can get. So Louise, with the Legacy Club, and for some of you that may or may not know, we started a year ago this concept idea of creating safe havens where we could connect and meet on a monthly basis to discuss legacy and purpose, because, you know, all of us are here on this planet for a limited period of time, and there will come a time when, you know, we've left, and then whatever we left behind, and that was the whole idea around the Legacy Club, is to have those conversations and to help people ignite that idea around it. So what attracted you about the Legacy Club? Because I know you're passionate about it, and obviously, you know, taking it to where we want to take it. What attracted you?
It was such a great fit with my own philosophy of reaching out and helping and supporting one another, and the idea of being able to come together with a group of like-minded, inspired people, and having all that energy in the room and wanting to help and support each other, not only on our journey of personal development, but on our business, entrepreneurial journeys. It was just something that really drew me in. I love being with groups of people. you know, a team as such. You know, I work quite remotely on my own a lot of the time, so I think that was a big pull for me to, because I know how important it is. We are social beings, and to be with like-minded people who are all working towards the same goal is just fantastic. So I think the principles behind the Legacy Club are amazing, and I'm really looking forward to building on the group that will come together very soon and share ideas and see where we take this. Yeah, it's fabulous.
Absolutely. And that is it. I think ultimately, and this is the time also, one of the things that we do in the exercises where we focus on helping people find their legacy is the idea of writing 2 eulogies, you know. So one is you continue to do what you're doing now, which right now at this time might not be a lot, but you know, you're continuing doing that 9-to-5 job, or you're continuing to be in the career that you are, where you're not really pushing the boundaries, or then write the other one where there's no limit, you know, a life that gives you goosebumps, where, you know, at the end of it, when someone reads what you've done, they think, well, you know that was pretty amazing. So, and that's the whole idea around it, is to help people find what their purpose is and what their legacy is. What would you like your legacy to be? What are you focusing on? What is your purpose, and what would you like your legacy many years from now to be?
Well, I think, you know, legacy for me is how many people that I can sort of touch and support and help in as many different ways in life. So I think I will just be happy to be able to know that I made that difference, even if it was a little difference to people. But hopefully there will be some people along the way that will make a tremendous difference, and we'll remember that. So that's what it's about for me.
And that's exactly it, Louise, is that, you know, when you're helping an individual, for example, hey, you were just talking about the example of the phantom limb, you know, well, you made his life better, and the ripple effect that will have in his life, and consequently on the life of others, because, you know, he's obviously a different individual now. And people that have all sorts of phobias and anxieties, you're making better individuals, which again are going out there and making a phenomenal ripple effect. I mean, I always remind everyone, not everyone can be Tony Robbins, because there's only going to be one Tony Robbins and only going to be one living around. But there are many opportunities for each and every one of us to plant a seed, and for each and every one of us to go out and then have that phenomenal ripple effect. You know, we don't know, you know, how us being positive, you know, resilient individuals, we don't know the impact that will have in our kids, because, you know, our kids are watching us, and it might be that your kid goes out there and does phenomenal things, and that was thanks to you. So I think, you know, a lot of times people might feel a little bit overwhelmed, but it's those small things that count.
Well, I often get, you know, years down the line emails from some old clients that I've worked with some really lovely, happy stories coming through, and that for me is what makes it all worthwhile, you know, just to hear those stories and know that they took that and ran with it and were able to really create what they saw in their mind at the time when we worked together. So absolutely, yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Absolutely. So now, with everyone at home for a relatively long period of time, whoever's listening to this, hopefully in a recording, you know, months from now, we're all back out. But what are those skills that people should be focusing on? What should be people doing from home? Because, you know, one of the things obviously we talk about a lot of this is being aware of your internal dialogue, making sure you're making good positive thoughts, you know, don't get into negative emotions or feelings. Hey, we can all have a bad day, or a bad half a day, or a bad hour, but we got to get back on top of it. Well, what's your advice? You know, what are the best things that we can do now to stay at home, stay focused, keep an eye on the prize?
Yeah, well, I think it's just embracing where we are at. First of all, is just make peace with where you're at. Don't push yourself to want to be anywhere else, you know, and ask yourself the question, if there's one thing I can do today to make myself feel happier or healthier, or maybe working towards being wealthier, what would that one thing be that I could do that would be possible for me to do today, and let me focus on that. And I think when you ask yourself that question, you'll come up with the answer.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. Someone shared with me, actually, it was David Meltzer the other day, and he was sharing to me that, you know, he was saying, because he had or struggled with depression, you know, in a bad way, and he's helped or worked with a lot of people that also have deep depression. And one of the things that he was advising, he says, when you feel really, 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 really bad, and you're really in a really bad way, just have sufficient energy to go out there and help someone. Just reach out to someone. And obviously in the past, it might have been a homeless person, you could go out, but there's always someone that could probably do with some kind words or some help. And it's impossible physically. It is impossible physically to feel bad when you're helping someone else. When you're helping someone else, it's not about you anymore. Absolutely. It's about helping the other individual.
Yeah. And also we know that when the mind is focused on a task, you can't be accessing difficult emotions. So if someone is struggling with an anxiety and it's feeling a little bit overwhelming, that they're caught in that emotional state, that if they involve themselves in a task where the mind's got to think their way logically through something, that whole other side switches off.
Yeah.
So it's a useful thing to do.
It is a very useful thing to do. Some people start cleaning, some people start reading, some people don't. Just keep yourself busy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Louise, so we're very excited, obviously, in working with you, collaborating with you. We are going to be, we're uploading a lot of content we had a lot of content on the Best You Online. We're going to be listing a lot more courses and things like that. So we're looking forward to having some of your material there on the Best You Online. So make sure you reach out to us because, we have a lot of people that teach all sorts of skills, and obviously being able to learn these skills are essential nowadays, and especially now if you have that downtime. So, I would highly recommend that you look into it. And obviously, if you want to find out more about Louise and the great work that she's done, where she's managed to build a phenomenal career all over the world for so many years. So, Louise, what are you going to be working on now, if you can be specific? I think you already mentioned some of the things that you're working on, but how could people find you as well, and how could you help them?
So if anybody's interested, go to the website, lifemattersgroup.com. You'll find all the information about the clinics, but also the training that I offer. And you can reach out to me by email through the website. And I'm always happy to have a conversation with anyone if you're interested in the world of hypnosis and wanting to know how that might benefit you, either not even as a therapeutic career, but even in general life, because these skills are very broad, as we know. They can help us with many different things. That I do have a foundation hypnosis course, which will teach you the basics and give you some initial skills to use in life and for yourself and for the people around you. And then if that really grabs your attention, then we've got the full diploma course, Hypnotherapy, Psychotherapy, NLP training, which is a professional practitioner training. And we will be running that later on in the year, but we will very, very shortly be opening up to any students that want to jump online with me and do some foundation training, which is worth finding out about.
Brilliant, Louise. Well, thank you so much. Lovely to speak with you. Lovely to catch up with you. I'm looking forward to us running our Legacy Club meeting virtually. So let me know when we're up and running, and I'll be there.
Lovely. Well, thank you. It's been great to talk with you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone listening to Inspiring People. And I hope to see you soon. If you want to find out more about, obviously, The Best You, go to thebestyou.co, thebestyou.online, or my webpage, bernardo-moya.com. Thank you so much. Take care.